When you're getting ready to start to fill in your background, what I like to do first is I like to make a selection around the area that I'm going to be filling in. So I'm going to make my design all around the person. And so I do that by going to the photo layer, and I'm going to grab my object selection tool. It's kind of like a smart selection tool, so you want to be careful as you're working with it, because as soon as you click and drag a selection around the thing that you wish to select, you have to let go, and Photoshop is going to start thinking about where the edges are. And so you'll see this spinning wheel happen. If it's a nice clean selection, uh, then it'll snap to the edges pretty well. You may need to do some adjustments on this selection if it didn't get everything you want. And then basically what I do is I invert the selection. So I'm going to reverse it by inverting. And I go to the selection tool and I choose inverse. And now the area that's selected is the area around the person. So my background layer, I'm going to make sure that I'm clicking right in that as I do my work. And I'm just going to think back to some basic designs that I did with line, shape, color, texture. You can do things like take your gradient tool and fill your background with any kind of gradient that you're interested in, and it will start filling in the background. Remember, if you don't like the gradient, you can click and drag in another direction. You can change the shape of your gradient because you have 5 shapes at the top of your screen. So I'll go with a gradient that's kind of a circle. And so now you can do this in separate layers if you want, or you can just continue to draw in your background layer. Remember, the more layers you have, the more you can start editing them in different ways. So if you want to throw different effects on these layers, then you may want to do a few different background layers as you're drawing. I'm just going to start by working with my brush tool, and I'm going to go to a simple round brush with a soft edge. You can work hard or soft for this. It depends on what you want your design to look like. If you go with a hard round, then you're going to have these shapes that are very distinct with nice, clean, sharp edges. So I'm going to grab a different color, maybe something that complements this red and pink, like a dark green. And I'm using my bracket keys to make my brush bigger or smaller. So I had my opacity at a low opacity, so we'll crank that up again. Yeah, that's more like it. So this is a hard edge shape. If you wanted to give it perspective where something looks like it's smaller and getting farther away, you can play around with size. And notice the brush is only painting within that selection. So you can see as I draw here, the drawing is going to end, and then I can pick up exactly where I left off on the other side here. It's going around, or not really drawing at all inside that selection. So I've really filled my background with a variety of different things, and you can see that I've got my background with my gradient and my dots, and then I did 2 separate designs with lines. Now what you can do is edit these independently. So if you decide that you want to throw a blending mode on those, all your layers come in a normal blending mode, but as you choose something from normal and kind of work your way down the different blending modes, there's about 20 different ones to choose from. So definitely try these out if you think it enhances your design in any way. Sometimes it gives it a transparent appearance, and that can look really cool. And then the other thing you could do is you can double click on your layers. And when you double click on them, you're going to get some options for layer styles. Now, if I push this over a little bit, I can go ahead and click on some of these effects, and you can see I've got an outer glow, and now that makes it look a little bit more 3D. So if you like these effects, you can try them in combination with each other, or you can just try one at a time. They do have some parameters that you can kind of play with these sliders. And if you find something you like, you can just okay it. And now I can see that I used about 3 different effects here on this very last layer of lines. Don't forget, you want to go to File and